Ever imagine yourself right in the thick of it? The heart of the sports world, but not as the star player. What if you were the one calling the shots behind the scenes?
Ah, the sport administrator.
That's what this deep dive is all about. Figuring out what it really takes to be that driving force.
It's a role that really captures the imagination, doesn't it?
People see the cheering fans, the
I think
celebrations.
it's more than that.
They think it's all fun and games.
It's where passion for sports meets real business strategy.
We're lucky enough to be diving into 3 excerpts from RoleCatcher today,
They're kind of a big deal when it comes to career advice.
and what they have to say about becoming a sport administrator. Let me tell you, it's eye-opening.
One thing that really stood out to me,
Yeah,
it's not just about loving sports.
definitely not as simple as being a super fan.
It's about the impact a sport administrator has, and it's bigger than you might think.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
They're shaping the health of a country. They're pushing for social inclusion. They're even boosting the economy, all through the power of sports.
Wow. It's like they're the playmakers off the field, but their decisions have a ripple effect on the whole game.
Precisely.
And when they talk about sports organizations, we're not just talking about professional teams, right?
Not at all.
We're talking everything.
Absolutely everything, from those small local clubs
Grassroots level.
all the way up to the massive international federations.
The Olympics, the World Cup, all that.
You've got it.
So what does that actually look like day to day?
Well, let's just say the scope of the job is enormous. Think managing budgets.
Okay, it's got to be good with numbers.
But we're not talking about your average spreadsheet here. We're talking about the budget for a major tournament, the travel, the logistics, the facilities.
Talk about high stakes.
Exactly. And that's just one piece of the puzzle.
So you need to be organized, obviously.
Absolutely.
But what about marketing? You've got to be able to sell the sport, right?
You're spot on.
Creating campaigns, building a brand.
They need to be marketing whizzes. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Attracting sponsors, engaging fans, and then there's crisis management.
Oh, right. Because in the world of sports,
There's always a crisis.
always something dramatic happening.
A doping scandal, an injury, a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
They need to handle it all.
Talk about a high-pressure job. You've got to have nerves of steel.
You said it.
And what really jumped out at me from RoleCatcher's interview guide, it's not enough to just have these skills on paper.
Right.
You have to show them how you've used them.
You need to demonstrate.
Prove you can handle the heat.
Exactly.
So how do you convince someone you're the real deal? It's like you almost need ESP to know what they're looking for in that interview, you know?
Right.
Like, how do you even begin to prepare for that?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher really shines.
Oh, yeah. They have some secret formula?
Kind of. They've got these tailored practice questions, which is cool and all. But here's the really interesting part.
Okay, I'm listening.
AI-powered feedback.
Wait, what? Elaborate on that.
So you record yourself answering these interview questions.
Mhm.
Tough ones, too.
About budgets and crises and stuff.
Exactly. Even those curveball questions, about handling conflicts within a team.
Oh, those are the worst. Tell us about a time you disagreed with a coworker. Yikes.
And then, get this, the AI analyzes your responses.
No way.
It's like having a personal coach in your pocket,
Yeah.
giving you personalized feedback on everything. Your delivery, your content, the whole shebang.
That's incredible. That would be a game changer for me. I get so nervous in interviews.
It really takes the guesswork out of it. And honestly, that's not even the best part.
There's more.
RoleCatcher also has this whole system for analyzing job descriptions.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the interview, it's about the application too.
Exactly. They pull out all the key skills employers are looking for.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you can tailor your CV for each application, highlighting the specific skills that matter most for that role.
So you're not just sending out a generic CV and hoping it sticks. You're being strategic. You're speaking their language.
You got it.
Yeah.
And here's the real kicker. They even identify skills you might be missing. Things employers value that you might not even realize.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Right. Like,
Okay.
let's say a job description mentions experience with CRM systems for managing athlete data. Or maybe they want someone familiar with specific event management software. RoleCatcher will flag that, giving you a heads up to brush up on those skills.
It's like they're saying, hey, here's how to level up your game before you even step on the court.
So smart.
Yeah.
We've been talking a lot about RoleCatcher, which is amazing, but I'm curious about those different stages of a sport administrator's career.
Okay, yeah.
Is it like a ladder? You start at the bottom and just keep climbing? Or are there different paths you can take within the field?
It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of career path.
Okay, good to know.
And RoleCatcher actually delves into that, giving some real-world examples of different career trajectories you might see. Oh, I love that. So tell me, where do most people start?
Well, at the entry level, you often find yourself assisting with event coordination.
Okay, so more of a behind-the-scenes type of role.
Exactly. Think managing databases, maybe with athlete information, using those CRM systems we talked about to track progress, or handling communications, the nuts and bolts that keep everything running.
Got it. So you start with the basics and work your way up.
You could say that. As you gain experience, you might find yourself specializing.
Specializing? Like what?
Well, some sport administrators, they gravitate towards the event management side of things.
Makes sense if you're already coordinating events.
Right. They become the masterminds behind those big tournaments and competitions.
I can see that. So organized, detail-oriented.
Exactly. Then you have others who excel in athlete representation.
Oh, like agents.
Similar, but with a broader focus. Guiding athletes' careers, negotiating contracts, that kind of thing.
Interesting. So you really need to know your stuff about the sport itself for that.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, there's the marketing and communications rep.
Right, got to get the word out there.
Building the brand, engaging with fans, managing the organization's public image. It's a whole different ballgame.
Wow, so many options. I love that it's not just one straight path. You can really find your niche. But no matter which path you choose, I imagine leadership skills become pretty crucial as you move up, right?
100%.
Yeah.
As you progress into senior management, it becomes less about managing tasks and more about managing people.
Leading a team, making those tough decisions.
You need that strategic vision, the ability to make big picture decisions, especially when it comes to finances, securing those crucial sponsorships that keep the whole ship afloat.
It's a different ball game at that level. You're calling the plays. But that journey from coordinating events to leading a whole department, that's got to come with a whole lot of learning along the way.
Oh, for sure. And RoleCatcher stresses that. Continuous learning is essential in this field.
Makes sense. The world of sports is always changing.
Exactly. Staying ahead of the game means being in the loop about the latest sports technology.
Like what kind of technology are we talking about?
Well, think AI for player scouting, for example, or using virtual reality for fan engagement.
Wow, that's next level.
It's also crucial to stay updated on sports regulations, which, let's be honest, are constantly changing.
And the ethical side of things, too.
Exactly. And of course, building your network, going to conferences, connecting with mentors. Those relationships can be invaluable.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure. Never a dull moment.
And that's part of the appeal, right? It's exciting.
Totally. But RoleCatcher keeps it real.
They do.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
Definitely not.
There's a flip side to all the glamour and excitement.
They don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Long hours, sometimes the job security isn't great.
Especially in a field where it's all about results.
Exactly. And teams are constantly changing. Players get traded, coaches move on. It can be tough.
And let's be real, it's competitive.
Oh, incredibly competitive.
Yeah. Everyone wants to work for those big-name teams, those top organizations.
The best of the best are all vying for those roles.
So you need to be resilient.
Absolutely.
Able to handle the pressure, bounce back from setbacks.
Sometimes even take a tough loss or two. And that's where those soft skills we talked about really come into play.
Being able to stay positive even when things get tough.
Exactly. Having the guts to make difficult decisions.
Yeah.
Even when it's not easy.
Like those tight budget calls we talked about.
Sometimes you have to say no to projects you believe in.
Because at the end of the day, there's only so much money to go around.
Exactly. Passion is important, but so is being realistic.
RoleCatcher didn't shy away from the financial side of things either.
They didn't.
And it sounds like that's something to be mindful of, especially early in your career.
It's true. You're not going to be signing those million-dollar contracts like the athletes.
At least not at the beginning.
Those entry-level positions. Rewarding? Yes. In terms of experience, making those connections?
Getting your foot in the door.
Exactly. But the starting salary, it might not be what you're dreaming of.
Well, you really need to be driven by something more than money.
You have to be passionate about the work itself, about making a difference.
It can't just be about the paycheck. It's got to be something more.
Finding your purpose within that world. And in sports, that purpose, it's powerful.
You know, one thing that really struck me throughout our deep dive,
Yeah, what that?
a sport administrator isn't just managing logistics or crunching numbers.
It's so much more than that.
They're shaping experiences, influencing lives.
It's a career with the potential to make a real difference. Think about it. A well-run community sports program. That can change kids' life.
Absolutely. Gives them opportunities they might never have had
Or
otherwise.
imagine organizing a huge international competition, bringing the world together.
The power of sports. It's incredible when you think about it like that.
It all comes back to those human stories, those moments of triumph, the camaraderie. That's what sports is all about.
And that's something I want our listeners to take away from this deep dive.
I love that.
As you're exploring this career path, think about the impact you want to have.
What kind of legacy do you want to leave on the world of sports?
What a great question to ask yourself.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about getting a job. It's about finding your place
Your purpose.
in a field that you're passionate about.
That's what it's all about.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one inspiring the next generation of athletes or shaping the future of sport.